agonist. And so that potential for misuse or abuse is what we're talking about with Vivitrol today is the difference. Now, it might not be the best medication in all cases for everybody. And it may not be the best medication in early recovery. It might be today that what we could start seeing in medication-assisted treatment is Suboxone in the beginning, and then transitioning from Suboxone to Vivitrol, because with Vivitrol there is no misuse, there is no abuse, there's no euphoria, and there's no addiction to the medication. When you want to come off Vivitrol, there will be no withdrawal. And so we're not really trading one addiction for another. We're actually saving lives. So this slide tells us Vivitrol, what it is. And as I said, Vivitrol is FDA approved. And what it is it's an opioid blocker. It's an antagonist, which it's the only one in this category that is an antagonist. It blocks the receptor sites. It does not fill them with an opioid. It is not a man-made opioid. It is simply naltrexone, which is what is in Suboxone, but it does not have the buprenorphine that is the actual partial agonist. It is extended release, which is a beautiful thing because, when you're coming from medication in a disease of addiction that gets you up every morning thinking about what am I going to do today to get the next drug, having to still take a medication every single day to fight that drug is also another barrier of changing your way of thinking. And so with Vivitrol, it's a once a month injection. And so that allows us to not have to worry about taking it daily. It allows for more compliance in treatment where people don't have to worry about, do they feel like staying sober today and taking their medication, because they cannot take it and then use. But once you get the shot, it's in your system for just about 28 days, and then you'll be ready to get your next shot. It's administered by healthcare professionals, so its use is monitored. And so it's at those times that we can get them in for their shot, and we can have one of their counseling sessions right on the day of their Vivitrol injection to see how things are going in their recovery and their psychosocial programming. What it is not, and I've said it loud and clear, but I'm going to say it again for you so that you do go away with this message today, it is not addictive. And it is not euphorogenic. So the person is really, what they're starting to see in the research that I've been reading is that people are clearer in treatment. It is just as effective for many of the studies as Suboxone, but you're not actually getting an opiate. And so this is a really wonderful thing of Vivitrol. Suboxone, another great medication that is very helpful in this fight against the opiate use disorder. The pros of it too is very much FDA approved. It's a daily dosage, and so people can up and down their dose, but again, it can be a con to be daily dosing, as you may decide not to take it that day. It is a harm reduction, and it does have a ceiling effect. So even though it has an opiate, it is combined with the naltrexone that's in Vivitrol, and that allows people to be able to get some opiate partial usage, but to not want more because they've got the naltrexone and they cannot actually get any higher in the day with it. And it's, again, used in combination with behavioral therapy. All medication-assisted treatment is best in combination with behavioral therapy. The cons of it are it is a partial agonist, and so you are still getting opiates. And you will have, if you ever want to come off Suboxone, there will be withdrawal, unfortunately. You'll need to wean down and then, have an actual, hopefully strong support system and recovery network. If you don't, you really don't even want to rock the boat, because you really will be subjected to going back out again. It's a Schedule IV drug, so it does have the abuse potential. It's continued addiction and overdose potential. People can overdose on Suboxone. And you cannot stop taking it cold turkey without withdrawals occurring, whereas Vivitrol can be stopped and you will not have withdrawal. So what else have we seen in all the research that I have been studying with the comparison studies against Suboxone and Vivitrol, and some of the gaps in the treatment that I have seen is primary care doctors are just not prescribing the best appropriate treatments. And so I had to ask myself why, and then I did look through several of the research articles to answer this question. It was one that came up in many of the articles, and that is because they really just are ill-informed, and what they're not informed on or not sure of, they don't want to prescribe. And there also is some bias, but I really think a lot more of it than bias at this stage with the opiate crisis is, information. And so they're reluctant due to lack of knowledge. There is some stigma and bias. They're just underusing these FDA-approved treatments. And physicians are unaware of the Vivitrol benefits with opiates. And we have seen in the research that is present at this time, over the last couple of years, there has been a shift and increase in Vivitrol usage, as Vivitrol is also just as effective in alcohol disorder. So for alcoholism, we are seeing a big shift in that the primary care doctors are actually using Vivitrol and prescribing it and giving out referrals and getting their patients set up in clinics to get Vivitrol for alcoholism. And that is within the last couple of years had a big shift in their numbers. And that's great to hear. And we know that we can see that shift in the numbers for the opiate use disorder when we take some action. And staff issues is a problem. The cost. People are concerned about Vivitrol, though it is covered by Mass Health, by most insurance companies, Medicaid, Medicare. Its initial dosage is $1,300. It's only needed that one dose a month. Suboxone is probably somewhere between $300 to $500 a month, and the cost of doing nothing is the highest cost, because we're losing lives daily. And so standards of care are needed. They're really needed. One of the things I found the most in the research is, who qualifies, who making the decisions. We need a real standard of care chart that can give the primary care physicians numbers to know, okay, this person has X, Y, and Z. They would be better suited for Vivitrol, or would they be better suited for Suboxone? And so I hope to see those things come out from these gaps. Solutions: it's essential to meet regularly and utilize collaborative problem-solving techniques to diffuse current and potential future problems. And that's what we're doing here today, is we're gathering together. And I have to say, I am absolutely thrilled to have been called to the city of Haverhill. And initially I wasn't. I was kind of hoping to go to the Seacoast. But to be here today as a professional, as a registered nurse, and to be able to serve this community in the fight against opiate use disorder with the Ray of Light Recovery Cafe has been such an honor to me, as we've got, Merrimack Valley Prevention and Substance Abuse here today, and we've got Leaving the Streets Ministries working diligently here today. We have Eamon's Heart, and we have so many organizations all pooling together to help the homelessness, the addiction problems of this community. And so we need to continue to build enduring medical care systems for those with substance use disorder, eliminate the marketing of controlled substances to prescribers, and educate our doctors so they're not driven by profit-seeking pharmacies that instigated the crisis to start off with. We know that this started with Purdue and the OxyContin. So we need to change our fundamental way of thinking of addiction as a moral failing rather than a health problem. Stop ignoring the problem and invite them to the table. One of the next slides, we're going to see that the courts have taken a big interest, and I really applaud them for that. So we need widespread reform to diminish the opiate crisis, and that studies after studies show that treatment is needed and that it works. You know, the numbers out of Chicago, Illinois, that started a Vivitrol trial with people getting out of jail, the numbers were phenomenal. 279 people were initiated